Hey YouTube, it's Ryan from Movies with Ryan, and we're back with my weekly video. Now, last week, A24 dropped a trailer for a movie that got me really excited, and that is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And it stars Data from the Goonies, Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China, and what I'm most excited about, Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger. Now, if you don't know who either of these three people are, I highly suggest looking them up because they all have great filmography. But in doing so, I started looking at my collection thinking, oh, I've got one or two A24 movies. Turns out I've got 42, and I've probably watched half of them. But we're going to go through my list of what I own, and we're going to look at them in release order according to the A24 Wikipedia page, and we'll look and see what I got. Like I said, I've got a stack of 42 movies here to my left, and we're going to go through them one by one. Now, starting things off is a movie I just recently picked up, and I did pick it up solely because it is an A24 release, but also the cast is pretty good, and it's directed by Sofia Coppola, which I do love her Lost in Translation and The Virgin Suicides. If you haven't seen those, I highly recommend them. But that is The Bling Ring. And this is based on actual events. It's about four fame-obsessed teenagers that basically track celebrities down using their like Instagram accounts and stuff like that, and they know where they're at, so they go in and they rob their homes while they're away. I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, Sofia Coppola has impressed me, with the exception of maybe The Godfather Part 3. But this looks like it's going to be good. Now, moving on is another movie I've not seen, but I've heard nothing but good things. It stars Miles Taylor. Teller. Hey, look at that. I can speak today. Anyway, it's The Spectacular Now. So what I understand is he's a high school kid, has some tragic stuff happen to him, and then he falls in love with this new girl, and it's supposed to be a heartwarming story. Can't wait to watch this. I love Miles Teller. He was really good in Whiplash. Next is a movie I think everybody should see, and that is Enemy. Basically, Jake Gyllenhaal goes against Jake Gyllenhaal. Finds out he's got an identical, and the identical is basically trying to ruin his life. But Enemy is very good. I've been looking for the standalone release because the cover for it is stupendous, but I have not been able to find it. But Enemy, very good movie. Now, next is a divisive movie. I know a lot of people don't like this. I know a lot of people love it. Starring Scarlett Johansson, and that's Under the Skin. Now, she's basically an alien wandering around town hunting for men. And if you've seen it, you know there's some good parts. You know there's a lot of bad parts. But it's an A24 movie. Stars Scarlett Johansson. Had to have it. This is a movie, the next one, that really got me to like Tom Hardy. I thought he was okay. I didn't really care for him too much. But this movie really set him apart in his acting to me. And that is Locke. So basically, he takes place mainly the whole time in his car. And he's basically dealing with a situation that he's got to resolve. Reminds me a lot of Phone Booth. I guess you could say this is kind of like the British version. But Tom Hardy and Locke, great movie. Next is a movie I've heard good things about, starring Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson. And this is what got me on my kick of Robert Pattinson. The Rover. Post-apocalyptic Australia, basically, I believe. And they're trying to survive. And I heard it's pretty good. Still haven't watched it yet. Need to get it. Or what? Get around to it. Does kind of slip. Oh, hey, and for once, the art is different from the slip to the cover. Can't beat that. That is another thing I like about A24. Just a unique studio, you know, putting out good movies, and their product is always very good and well sought after, I believe. So next, another divisive movie by Kevin Smith, Tusk. Now, I really like this movie. It's got Justin Long in it. I love Justin Long. It starts off pretty good. He's going to go do an interview, and then about halfway through the movie, things get weird. period. If you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend it. It is a very good Kevin Smith movie, but it is not your typical Kevin Smith movie. Tusk from A24. Great movie. Next, another movie I just picked up recently. Did not even realize this was an A24 movie. My Mega Replay had like 10 copies of this, and I just never looked at it. And I didn't realize Ryan Reynolds is on the front cover. But that is The Captive. Don't know much about it. Psychological thriller. So it looks like his young daughter disappears, so he's got to go find her. So, but it does star Ryan Reynolds and Rosario Dawson, and nobody else Scott Speedman. He's a pretty good actor. But anyway, my next A24 title, The Captive. All right, my next A24 title, starring Oscar Isaacs and Jessica Chastain, A Most Violent Year. Basically, he is an oil delivery business owner, and he gets roped into a deal that turns out to be deceitful. But Most Violent Year, good movie. Next, another movie I've not watched yet, stars Ewan McGregor, Son of a Gun. I really don't know much about it. It looks like a little action flick. Can't wait to watch it. Next, a Ben Stiller, Adam Driver, Naomi Watts, Amanda Seyfried, little vehicle here, While We're Young. So basically, Ben Stiller and his girlfriend meet up this young couple, Adam Driver and Amanda, and they try to live their life as though they were 20 years younger. Very good movie. It's kind of slow, but the dialogue and all that's very, very good. I recommend it. Now, a movie everybody should see. Sci-fi, probably at its best. This is probably one of the best movies in the last 20 years, sci-fi wise. And that is Ex Machina. And this is a European release steelbook. But basically, this has 3 people in it, and it's a very thought-provoking story of AI. Highly recommend Ex Machina. Everybody should watch it. Next is it's based on a book. It's The End of the Tour, and I have not watched this yet, but it's, I believe, a gentleman interviews a journalist. There we go. After he does a tour of some sorts. I'm not quite sure, but Jesse Eisenberg and Jason Segel. It's A24. Can't wait to watch it. Another movie I picked up, I didn't realize this was an A24 until I started looking at the lists, and that's Mississippi Grinds with Ryan Reynolds. Don't know much about it. I'm assuming they are casino sharks, so see what that's about. Now, the next A24 is a movie I know a lot of people either love, a lot of people either hate, and a lot of people only watch one time, because it is a little depressing. That is The Room. I really enjoyed this movie. It's really, I think, a kind of look into the mind of a not so stable person and the effects that it has on 2 innocent people. Good movie. I think everybody should at least watch this and give it a chance. But The Room from A24, I think it's good. Next, going back into horror. The Witch with Anya Joy-Taylor. This is a steelbook. This is the French release. French-Canadian, I believe. Kind of a folklore period piece. It's good. It's not the best, but it is good. I highly recommend everybody should watch it. Next, this is another look at human depravity, I believe. The Green Room. So a band goes to play this club, turns out it's run by skinheads, and they get locked in the room, and it's brutal. Highly recommend watching this. It's definitely an interesting take on people trying to survive. But The Green Room from A24. Good movie. Next, another movie I didn't realize was an A24 when I bought it. I have not watched it yet. James Franco, Ed Harris, Amber Heard. The Adderall Diaries. Of course, two of those three people have some stuff going around them that's not too favorable, but it'd be interesting. Need to watch it. All right, this next movie, I'm not going to try to say the director's name because I'm going to butcher it, but he makes very weird movies. And this is a very weird movie, but it stars one of my favorite actors still working today, Colin Farrell, and that is The Lobster. So the basis of the story is once you hit a certain age and you haven't found love, you haven't been married, they send you to this hotel. And you're given so many days with all these other people to find love. And if you don't, you're sent out in the woods as an animal, hence the name The Lobster. Very weird movie, but it's beautiful. I think it's moving in some parts. If you have not seen this, I highly recommend at least watching it once if you've never seen it. But The Lobster, great movie. Next, movie that I talked about earlier, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, was directed by the Daniels. And this next movie was one of their first outings, and it stars Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, Swiss Army Man. Now this movie looks at mental illness from a different light, and you don't realize it until the end. But basically, Paul Dano is stuck on an island, and he finds a corpse, Daniel Radcliffe, and the corpse helps him survive. And there's a big twist at the end. Swiss Army Man, I highly recommend, especially if you want to see Paul Dano riding Daniel Radcliffe across the river because he's farting. Swiss Army Man, hilarious. Now next is a movie I picked up because I was on a Shia LaBeouf kick for a little bit. I have not watched this yet because it is a fairly long run time, 162 minutes. But it's a story about teenagers going across the country, basically selling magazine subscriptions to survive. American Honey. Now I've heard Shia's acting in this is really, really good. I think he's a good actor when he tries. I need to watch this. Highly recommend it. Probably. Next is a movie I picked up just recently when I was in Louisville on a thrifting trip. I think I paid $1.99 for it. Comes with Slip. Slip's a little beat up. I have not watched this yet. I think this was Best Picture winner. I know it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't remember if it won or not, but Moonlight. The reason I did pick it up, A, it had Slip, B, it's A24. I will get around to watching this. I just don't know anything about it. Next, another movie. It was fun. Takes place basically in one spot. Free Fire. Basically, two gangs of people are trying to make a deal, and all hell breaks loose. If you haven't seen this, I'd give it a shot. It's fun. It's worth it. It's got Armie Hammer, Brie Larson, Cillian Murphy in it. And it's from executive producer Martin Scorsese. I did not realize that. But Free Fire. It's a good A24 movie. At the end of the video, I'm going to count how many times I said A24 during this video. Now next, this movie is fantastic. If you have not seen it, it's kind of a hard watch. It's very gripping. It's thought-provoking in a sense. Joel Edgerton, It Comes at Night. So basically, it's about a group of people trying to survive another group of people that's trying to kill them. And it's as simple as that. I highly recommend this movie if you've not seen it. It Comes at Night. Of course, it comes with Slip. I don't know if they did. Nope, didn't do different art. All right, next. I watched this earlier this year, and it's probably became easily one of my top 5, maybe top 10 movies of all time. Stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and that is a ghost story. And I'm highly, highly pissed off that I don't have the Slip for this, because this movie, I love it. And there's nothing special about the movie. It's basically a love story that has a twist, and it involves a ghost. But way I like to describe this movie, it's not your typical ghost story because it really takes the side of how boring it is to be a ghost. You literally just sit there. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. It's well written. It's well shot. But I highly recommend A Ghost Story if you've not seen it. And if you got the Slip, hit me up. Next, everybody knows about Uncut Gems. The Safdie brothers. Anybody watched that had a nervous breakdown probably. They were probably sick to their stomach. They were on the edge of their seat, because it was a very, very good movie. What a lot of people don't know about is this movie, also by the Safdie brothers, starring Robert Pattinson and one of the Safdie brothers. I don't remember which one is his brother in the movie. I think it's Benny. But Good Time. This movie will make you nauseous because you want to root for him, but then you want to scream at him at the same time because he just one bad decision after another. Highly, highly recommend checking out this movie. Even if you don't like Uncut Gems, I would give this a shot. If you love Uncut Gems and you've never heard about this movie, go buy it now. Good Time. Fantastic movie. And let's see if they did it on this one. Nope. Picture's still the same. Next, a movie I haven't watched yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. It stars William Dafoe, and I've heard that it is probably one of William Dafoe's best performances, with the exception of something that's going to be coming up here in a little while. The Florida Project. I don't know much about it. I think it involves a bunch of people leaving like a cheap pay-by-the-week hotel, and it's kind of just like their lives, but it's supposed to be really good. So I can't wait to watch this, The Florida Project. Now next, actually bought this. This is a European release, but it's still an A24 movie, and I really like this just because it's from Curzon, Artificial Eye. The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Again, stars Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman. I have not watched this yet, but I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this. Killing of a Sacred Deer. Let's kill a deal. Anyway, Killing of a Sacred Deer. My next A24 movie. I need to watch it soon. Now, a movie that gets compared to Edge of 17. A lot of people say Edge of 17 is better. I disagree. Lady Bird with, you know what, I'm not going to say her name because I'm going to butcher it. I know I can't say her name. I wrote it, but very good coming of age story. Laurie Metcalf is fantastic in this movie. And if you don't know who she is, she was Darlene from Roseanne. But it's a good story. It's kind of heart-pulling, emotional. It's just a good movie. Lady Bird, I highly recommend it. Now next, love this movie. The movie it's about, not so much. If anybody knows who Tommy Wiseau is and has ever watched The Room, you know what kind of disaster it is. But this was not. The Making of The Room, starring Dave and James Franco. I don't know why I was about to say John and John. But the Franco brothers, the disaster artist. This movie is fantastic. It really takes a look at Tommy Wiseau's life and the making of that movie and really shows what it was like, what it took to do it. I highly recommend watching this. I highly recommend watching The Room. You've got to at least give it one watch. It is so bad it is good. But there you go. Hi, Mark. Next, a movie I literally just picked up last week. It was in my DVD Blu-ray collection update on Sunday. I have not watched it yet. I've been looking at this for a while between both of my mega replays. I have one in Owensboro, which is about 45 minutes away than my local one, and they've always had it like $7.99. And they had a copy for $5.99, so I finally picked it up. The Ballad of Lefty Brown. It's a Western. I don't know much about it. I do like Westerns to a point, but cast is good. Figured I'd give it a shot. Next, my other favorite actor working at this time, Ethan Hawke. And oh, this also has Amanda Seyfried in it. I did not realize that. This is a movie, I guess, about a priest. Yes, a priest that is coming to grips with the clergyman caught in a momental crisis of faith. First Reformed. Again, love Ethan Hawke. It's an A24 movie. It's got its slip. Does it have different art? Nope, same art. But I need to watch this because it looks really good. Ooh, that looks... Yay. That looked weird. Anyway, First Reformed, another A24 movie. We're almost done. We've got about 10 more left. Another horror movie. I have watched this once. It was good. Some of the scenes were very messed up. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen this, you know which one I'm talking about. Hereditary. Again, I'm not a big horror person, but this is A24. I picked it up. I did watch it. It's different. Definitely creepy, but I would recommend it. Hereditary. Next is a movie I've not watched yet by Bo Burnham. 8th Grade. Basically about the story of a girl going from 8th grade into her freshman year in high school and her trials and tribulations and learning to grow up. I've not watched it yet. I've heard nothing about good things about it. Same thing. And I've heard Bo Burnham's direction in this was very, very good. Of course, I find him funny. He's a very weird comedian, but I like it. Anyway, 8th Grade. Next, another Robert Pattinson movie that I have not watched yet, but it looks good. I don't know exactly what it's all about. I'm assuming he's probably in space. Him and his baby daughter, the last survivors of the damned and dangerous mission to the outer reaches of the solar system. There we go. The High Life. Looking forward to watching this. Like I said, he has been impressing me. Yeah, Remember Me wasn't that great of a movie, but he's been just hitting it out of the park in a lot of his other roles, and I cannot wait to see him in the Batman. I think he will be an excellent Batman. But from A24, High Life. Next is another European release I picked up from, honestly, I don't even remember the company name. It says Mubi, but that doesn't sound right. M-U-B-I, but I guess it is. Yep. Stars Andrew Garfield. Under the Silver Lake. Now, I know I said in a previous video, I think it was my Stillbook video, I did not care for Hacksaw Ridge. I don't care for him as Spider-Man. Hopefully the new Spider-Man redeems that for me. 99 Homes. That was the other video I said something in. It's supposed to be really good with him and Shannon. I forget what his name is off the top of my head. I'm bad at that. But I've heard this is like primo Andrew Garfield. You need to watch this. I need to get around to watching it. But again, Under the Silver Lake. Now the next horror movie. A lot of people like Hereditary, hate this movie. A lot of people hate this or like this movie and hate Hereditary. I think, it's a pretty 50-50 split. There's a lot of people that just don't like this movie, period. Midsommar. If you haven't watched it, be prepared. It's weird. It takes a lot of turns and a lot of crazy stuff happens, and I think that's what turns a lot of people off. But Midsommar, I would still give it a watch. It's A24. It's a weird movie. Gotta watch it. Next is a movie I literally just watched 2 weekends ago. And I watched it after I watched Shang-Chi. And I got on a kick because it stars Awkwafina. And that is The Farewell. Now, I've owned this movie since it came out, since it got released on Blu-ray, which I think has been 2 years ago, I believe. And I put off watching it. And I don't know why, because I love Asian cinema. And I don't mind reading subtitles or anything like that. Finally watched this, and I am kicking myself for not watching it sooner. So it is basically a story. Nene finds out, or she doesn't find out she has cancer. Her family finds out she has cancer, and they keep it from her. And basically, this is the story of them going to pay their respects to her, seeing her for her last time before she passes and all that, without telling her. Beautifully written. A lot of it's filmed in China, I believe. It's just, scenery is nice. You really get to see a tradition in a culture that's not normal for American culture. But The Farewell, I highly recommend it. And I know a lot of people had an issue with Awkwafina and Shang-Chi. I thought she was great. I thought she was good comedic relief. I know a lot of people find her voice annoying, or they say, oh, all I heard was Ray of the Last Dragon. This is very good too. It's very serious, and it's a different take from Aquafina. Highly recommend The Farewell. Great movie. Next is that other Defoe movie that I said was also great. This movie is beautiful. I need to upgrade to the 4K. The regular Blu-ray looks great, but I've heard the 4K looks even better. But that is The Lighthouse. Period piece about two guys, well, technically three, but loosely based on a true story as well. Two guys living in a lighthouse and them having to put up with each other on the verge of killing each other. So, if you have not watched The Lighthouse, it's great. Be prepared, though, for almost no dialogue for the beginning of the movie until William Dafoe starts farting. That's all I'm going to say about that. Great movie, though. The Lighthouse from A24. Next is a movie I mentioned earlier from the Safdie brothers. I need to upgrade to the Criterion 4K because I've heard it looks fantastic. But that is Uncut Gems, starring Adam Sandler. This movie had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And I just wanted to punch him in the face because it was one bad choice after another. You're like, oh, he's finally turning around. And then he screws that up too. I highly recommend Uncut Gems. For people that don't like Adam Sandler, they think that he's just funny and it's all the same stuff over and over. I highly recommend this. I also recommend Reign Over Me and Punch Drunk Love. Very not Adam Sandler roles that are more serious and very well acted by him. He can act when he wants to. The Meyerowitz Stories was also very good. That was on, I believe, Amazon or something. But Uncut Gems, highly recommend it. Next is a movie, came out recently. Picked it up. I watched it, I think, about 2 months ago. Starring, I forget his name. Stephen Yin. I forget. Walking Dead guy. There we go. Minari. So it's about a immigrant family that moves to the Midwest in America to start a farm to try to make it, and he is determined to keep his family together and to make that farm work. And it's just a very good look at immigration into America and what people go through to try to make it. Very well written. It's a beautiful movie too. It's very well shot. Highly recommend it. Minari. 2 more left, people. This next one, I don't know what I'm going to think about it. It just came out recently. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. Zola. I did buy it because it had a slipcover. I think I got it on buy 2 get 1 free when Target was running the deal. But it's A24 as well, of course. That's why we're doing it in this video. Zola, I'll get around to watching it. Excuse me. Now next is a movie. I'm so sad because I missed out on the 4K. That is one thing about A24 movies here lately, especially with just the state of media. The 4K seem to be a lot less stocked in the stores. The Green Knight. I have not watched this yet. I actually had planned on watching this weekend, but due to work, I missed out on it. But I've heard nothing but great things about this. I've also heard nothing but bad things about this. Of course, it's based on Sir Gawain, the story. People don't like period pieces. People love period pieces. I've heard this movie looks beautiful. I've heard the writing and the cinematography are great. Can't wait to watch this. But The Green Knight from A24. But again, folks, that's all my A24 titles, and this was prompted because of the trailer for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I highly recommend going and checking out that trailer. I'll link it down below. It looks fantastic. Thank you for sticking with me through these 42 titles of my A24 collection. And this has again been Ryan from Movies with Ryan, and until I see you again, have a good night.